Welcome to Health Matters with Dr. Nelson Bulmash, sponsored by the UI Radio Network at uiradionetwork.org. Catch us on Facebook and Instagram at United Intentions and Twitter at Higher Intention. Look for us on 99.1 FM, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spreaker, Stitcher, Blog Talk Radio, and many more. Over the next hour, we'll introduce you to some fascinating people and engaging discussions that may provide you with answers to assist in revolutionizing your own personal health. And now, here's Dr. Nelson.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash, the host of Health Matters on the UI Media Network. I hope all of you had a wonderful, joyous 4th of July. If you didn't, I hope it was at least restful. I know how hard many of you work. I speak to many of you, and I know that many of you need a little bit of time for more R&R. And for those of you who are new to our program, Health Matters, we're dedicated to discussing the very, very best of health, inspiration, and spirituality. And today is no exception. I have somebody who I'm honored to say is a very good friend of mine and is an amazing healthcare coach and an expert in essential oils. So we're going to hit it from a different angle. You know, we've done a lot of talk with regard to chiropractic and acupuncture and physical therapy and all kinds of things. So today we are very blessed to have this amazing friend in-house, so to speak, and she's going to talk to us about the properties of essential oils that make them so formative and powerful in helping us with all kinds of things. Her name is Marylou Harris. Marylou, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
So glad to be here.
We have a lot of great topics we're going to talk about.
We sure do.
Yes. But folks, before I get started, it is incumbent upon me to make sure that I thank everyone who supports and loves me. So I want to take a moment and I want to do that, and then I have some announcements, and then we're going to jump right in. And listen, if you want to send your questions in through Facebook Live, please feel free to do so. We'd love to hear your questions and comments. Or if you'd rather call, you may do so at 678-495-4345. Again, that's 678-495-4345. Okay, for those of you who are right here in the Big Peach, Atlanta, Georgia, supporting me on Talk 10 FM and WGJY FM 99.1, you know how much I love you and how much you support me. I really, really appreciate it. Nothing's better, folks, than having the support of your own hometown. So I deeply, deeply appreciate you. And thank you for sharing our show. More and more people are watching it. It's growing day by day. And that means we're getting amazing information out. And just in case you don't know, here at United Intentions, our motto is, let's change the world one intention at a time. And my producer just put her hands up and said, yes, that's right. That's what we're all about. We're a conscious media station. Multimedia. We do TV, we do podcasts, and we do radio. And it means a great deal to us. This is something that all the hosts here based out of the United Intentions Foundation, love to do because we're putting great information out that helps you have a better life. And it doesn't get better than that, Marylou.
Absolutely not.
That's right. So listen, if you want to connect with us, by the way, if you want to connect directly to me, I am on YouTube. I have what's called Dr. Nelson Bulmash's YouTube channel. I'm on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram under Dr. Nelson Bulmash. If you want to connect with the folks here, Jesse, I need that put up a little bit more, sir. And if you want to connect with us online on social media, we're on Facebook and Instagram down on 0.7 here. We got to raise that up here, folks. Here we go. Let me go back to here. If you want to connect with us, you can connect with us on social media like Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as United Intentions, and Higher Intentions on Twitter. Thank you so much, sir. Okay, I got to tell you this. If you haven't checked out the show, make sure you wake up the conscious way with Awaken Atlanta morning show, 6:30 a.m. this Thursday. Host Tim Ray and Shannon McVeigh will be speaking with hypnotist and past life regressionist Michelle A. Payton, and Executive Vice President at Southeast Mortgage, Sean Graham. Lastly, before we jump in, I have to remind you, the big party brewing here, and it'll be July 20th. Save the date. Where will it be? At Gate City Brewing Company in Roswell, Georgia for our Awaken Atlanta celebration party. Join us for fun, good times, and you're going to be, folks, there are going to be incredible people there. I know that because I know many of them. So you're going to be able to meet all pretty much of the hosts that are based out of the UI Media Network. And we have people coming in from all over the country and even from around the world. These are movers and shakers in conscious media. So come celebrate with us. Go on UI Media Celebration Party on Facebook and let us know you're coming. We want to see you there. We're going to have a great time. Remember, save the date. It's July 20th. We'll be at the Gate City Brewing Company in Roswell, Georgia for the Awaken Atlanta Celebration Party. Marylou, what a pleasure.
Thank you.
I love this. Marylou and I are such good friends. I think you said, when can I be on your show, right? It was like, hey, when can I be on your show?
You said next week?
Yeah, right, exactly. So listen, Marylou Harris is amazing. You're one of the few people, by the way, I have to tell you this because I don't see or hear this very often. You're that person that I have never heard anything wrong about.
Oh, thank you.
I mean, you know what I mean? That's just rare and refreshing.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
It means
that puts
a lot.
You, yeah, it means it puts you in a very rare category. And the reason is obvious. She's not only, first and foremost, my mother and father used to say, become somebody worthy of being. And you are that person.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
So I pointed my finger at you. My apologies for being rude. Shame on me. But in all seriousness, you're an amazing health coach, and you're incredible with your use of essential oils. And before we jump into that, because I want to know a little bit more about your process. If you've watched any of my shows, one of the things that I love, particularly since I had a pretty hard path myself, is to find out from whence you came, so to speak. So we're going to jump into that. But folks, we're going to talk about her coaching because that's important. One of the things that throws a stumbling block, if you will, in the path of so many people is, how do you get started? The world today is so incredibly complicated, Marylou.
It is.
You got, poisons in the food we eat and in the water we drink and
the air we
breathe and the electromagnetic frequencies produced by cell towers and all of the electronic devices. So it's kind of a tough place to live well these days, unless you're in remote parts of
very tough place.
Yeah.
It's like walking through a minefield every day, really.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And you don't know what you don't know.
Right.
You do what you've always done, and you make a lot of mistakes. And that was me. I made a lot of mistakes in my home with choices I made in everyday products you buy at the grocery store and the mall.
Yeah.
And I was killing all of us, and it was frightening. So
yeah, you think it's safe. So the first thing I really want to do, Marylou, is I want to have our viewers and listeners have an idea of who you are and why you're, because you remind me a lot of a female version of me. You do. I mean, you finish my sentences, I finish yours.
Right.
And
we were born in the same
we were
hospital.
Born in the same hospital. That's right. And
and our mothers were coworkers.
Coworkers. That's right. And we didn't find
crazy.
that out until not really all that long ago. Yeah.
Right.
So Marylou for me is that person that was kind of like, where have you been all my life? This is strange. Born in the same city, same hospital. Mothers worked in the same hospital. How is it that we didn't know each other sooner? And you worked in the same building that I did, and I didn't know it.
Correct.
Yeah. So a lot of synchronicity here. So Marylou, one of the first things I like to ask people like you, these amazing healers, is, what's your story? What happened that you are so incredibly passionate? You're huge on education. You're constantly researching, and you're an amazing person. So you bring this high quality character to knowledge, and you marry those two, and it makes you formidable, as I stated, in the area of health and well-being. Tell me your story.
Well, just briefly, everything I do, I kind of do full tilt. So
right.
That's why
I didn't know that about you, Marylou.
Right.
I was unaware.
You're shocked, I know. I found myself in my early 40s in a place where I think a lot of women find themselves, hormonally imbalanced, low energy, starting to gain weight that they can't put their finger on, stressed out.
Probably not sleeping.
So then, just exhausted through a very busy day. I was raising 2 kids. I was working full time. So I was a mess, and my body started breaking down. And, we, especially I think working moms, will kind of white knuckle their way through anything. And I wasn't looking for the answer to what was wrong with me. I was just in survival mode, getting through the day. And it was actually on a doctor's appointment with my daughter, who had come home from her first year of college and needed to have her tonsils removed.
Right.
That I asked a doctor, an MD, an ENT, who was taking her tonsils out, literally changed my life because he started talking about allergy testing and food sensitivities. And the good news was she didn't have any food sensitivities. And I don't even know why I asked the question, well, if she did, what would that look like?
Right.
And if I had not asked that question, I don't know where I'd be right now. I probably wouldn't be a health coach, and I may not even still be alive.
How did that impact you?
Well, what we found was my toxic load was off the charts, and my food sensitivities. Literally, they did the Alcat brand of food testing on me, which is blood. And there were literally, this is going to blow your mind because it blew his mind and mine. There were 5 things in the green on my Alcat test, which was things I can eat that I wasn't allergic to. Almost everything on that report was red. And I had a lot of yellow. It's just like a stoplight. You know, red means
which
no.
means stop eating it, or caution, not very good for you, or green, go.
5 things
and you had 5
in the
things.
whole world, And I had candida overgrowth to where he could see it in my nostrils when he, the little thing they look in, the ear, the nose.
Right.
And he's like, wow. And then he looked down my throat and just said, girl,
you're in trouble.
Stop. Yeah, you got to stop and take care of you. I was in bad shape. So of course that came with heartburn and reflux and all that. Had a lot of damage.
These are all really common things. I mean, I hear about this all day long, each and every day that I see patients.
And you know what? I think so many people have digestive issues now because of the food, because of the toxins. I don't even think people realize they have digestive issues.
No.
They just think, oh, I eat, I feel lousy. Doesn't everybody?
Right. Right. And think about what you just said for a moment. Let's just pause and think about that. We just eat what, we eat. And by the way, even if you eat well sometimes, it's still not good enough.
No, because we don't have the enzymes we had when we were younger, and we can't break down our food.
Nor are they in the foods, nor is nutritional competence.
No, absolutely not. I always tell people that's one of my canned phrases is the carrot of 1950 is not the carrot of today. It doesn't nourish your body the same way.
No, it certainly
doesn't have the enzymes, and we don't have the digestive enzymes. And so that's one of the first things that when people come to me with gut issues, we talk about. We talk about the difference between food and fake food. And the world's just full of fake food now. And, the connection between the gut and the brain. And, people that come to me with digestive issues, almost 100% of them, when I say, do you have trouble sleeping at night? The answer is always yes, because, their serotonin levels are compromised. So therefore their brain doesn't have enough serotonin to make melatonin. And it's just a vicious cycle. So,
I want to add something real quickly because I want to give our audience perspective. So at one point I was doing a little bit of research on nutrient density in the foods that we ate. And I was working with a gentleman by the name of Bob Marshall. And it was, nothing real sophisticated, but we had a way of testing the competence of food, the nutriture in the food. And so we got food from different stores, and we were determining the nutrient density. And when I tell you I was shocked,
I bet it was frightening.
I'm going to create perspective for you. So the typical orange in the 1950s, 1960s had about 50 milligrams of vitamin C.
Right.
50 milligrams of vitamin C. So when and I'm not going to name the stores, but when we got a collection of fruits like oranges, for example, from some of the local stores in, where were we? Dallas, Texas. Some of them had 2 and 3 milligrams of vitamin C.
Yeah.
Even the organic, it only had 7, 8, 10. So is there a difference? Yeah.
There's a difference.
But there's no comparison. I mean, can you imagine you eat 2 or 3 oranges that have 50 milligrams of vitamin C?
Right.
You're at 100,
Your
150 milligrams.
Rocking.
You're rocking.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
But even the organic ones that we got had less than 10 milligrams. So they're still even only a fifth of what they were in the 1950s and 60s.
And that's why we have to supplement appropriately is the way I explain it.
Right.
Because, I'm a health coach certified in nutrition.
Yes.
I cook from scratch. I cook all organic ingredients. And I know I still have to supplement.
Yeah, you have to.
I know I'm not getting the 10 servings of fruits and vegetables I should eat.
No.
I'd be eating all day long if I, was trying to do that.
Yeah.
So you do have to
think ahead and supplement, right?
Yeah, and fuel the machine. Because our bodies are no longer operating on all systems.
Yeah, that's why
not firing on all cylinders, I guess.
Yes, that's why I tell people that you need to find somebody like you or like me and have them help design a program for you.
Absolutely.
Not only about how you eat, but how you take whole food supplements. We're going to talk about that when we
Sure.
get back, Marylou. We're going to take our
Great.
first commercial break, folks. I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash. You're listening to another edition of Health Matters, and my guest is Marylou Harris. We'll be right back.
Live every day with purpose with the Seeds of Intention Daily Planner.
A goal is just a dream until you write it down. Now, the awesome thing about writing things down is because in a year's time, you can see all of the specific things that are actually in your life right now. You can really chronicle the progression of the relationship and how you got from one goal to the next to the next.
To learn more, go to unitedintentions.org and click on Shop and make the commitment today to make the authentic change.
All right, folks. I was just listening to that cool music in the background. Very, very cool. I'm back again. I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash. If you've just joined us, I have Marylou Harris. She's a life and wellness coach, and she's an expert in essential oils. And I know you're wanting me to jump right into the essential oils, and I will, Marylou. I promise.
I'm good.
But I really let's go back a moment. We were talking about how it's so difficult to get really good food that has good nutrient density.
Yeah, correct.
And one of the big problems is that not only do we have so much pollution that it's a big problem, that our food, even our best foods, are more toxic than they should be because they're being grown in a toxic environment.
Right.
So even if we're not spraying them with things that contain glyphosate and we're
Right.
using artificial fertilizers, they're still not as good as they should be, or they were in the 1950s and 60s, as we stated. So
No, and the pollutants in the air, what goes up
that's
must come down. Right.
Yeah,
so,
that's exactly what I'm talking about. So,
We're
so
seeing-
talk to me a little bit about you do a lot of nutritional counseling with people as well.
Mhm, I do.
So let's talk about that. How do you help somebody that comes in and I'm just going to pick something that's so frequent in my office.
Mm-hmm.
40-something, 50-some-year-old woman. You got digestive problems. You got no energy. You're not sleeping at night. Your husband and your children are like work of the devil. We're afraid we'll get killed in our sleep because you're so cranky. and I'm only exaggerating a little bit because I hear
Right.
this kind of stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning, love mommy, but holy cow, she's overwhelmed, not sleeping,
Sure.
overwhelmed with all of the dynamics of the family. How
When
do you-
mama ain't happy, nobody's happy.
happy. That's right, because
Right.
mama rules the roost, so to
Right,
speak.
right.
So, Marylou, how do you help somebody like that? What do you do?
I mean, I start with just a basic education of the difference between real food and fake food,
Okay.
and why we don't want to put genetically modified food in our gut. Those are foods that are literally created with the pesticides inside of them.
Yeah.
Roundup and glyphosate. We're starting to see all the class action lawsuit
Right.
ads. Thank you, Lord, for
Right.
that. I just educate them on the Dirty Dozen list and the Clean 15, if you're familiar with that from
Mm-hmm.
EWG. I always give that to people as a link because, it's people have a preconceived notion that eating clean is expensive, and it is a little more expensive. But one of
Right.
the classes I teach is eating clean on a budget.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of the, am I allowed to say a company name? Grocery store name?
Yeah. No
I'm
problem.
a big fan of the Kroger Company. I know I'm a Cincinnati girl, and I don't think I'm being biased, but their Simple Truth organic
Right.
brand is great. It's clean. Even their plain Simple Truth brand, which is they're natural. I hate that word natural. I always say,
Yeah.
nuclear waste is natural. I'm
Right.
not going to eat it.
Yeah.
But I just educate people the things that they have to make good choices about, like
Right.
green leafy vegetables. You've got to eat organic if you're going to eat green leafy vegetables. If
Right.
you're going to eat strawberries and raspberries with their very soft, porous skin.
Skins. Mhm.
Water. I start at water. Why clean water matters. Why chlorine in your belly kills off your gut
Right.
bacteria, your good gut bacteria
You have to have.
immediately.
Yeah.
You've got to drink filtered water. I educate them on, some bottled water is just tap water in a bottle. You're buying
Yes.
convenience.
Yeah.
I've done all the research on that. So
Right.
I am a research junkie. I'm
Right,
a
I know you
continuing
are.
ed junkie. And so when people want to know the best water to drink, I can guide them appropriately. I live on a well, so I'm so blessed
Yeah.
that I don't have to worry about chemicals in my
Right.
water. But I tell people to get a shower filter. Your skin's your biggest organ.
Yeah.
Your your body is absorbing all that chlorine, all that fluoride. In 2014, Lancet finally
Admitted.
classified fluoride a neurotoxin.
That is so unbelievable that it's taken off. And that's where
God,
politics
people used to
comes
think I was
in.
nuts when I used to talk about
Yeah.
fluoride in the water. I was the
Lou,
crazy lizard lady when I talked about fluoride in the water. But science finally caught up.
They form trihalomethanes that are known carcinogens.
Right.
And the only reason we didn't know about it 15 or 20 or more years ago is because big companies stop us from knowing because they block us getting information.
Sure. And the ones that are really secretive about what they're making are these big factory chicken places. Ugh, those are
that they
scary.
found even arsenic in because it makes sense to put arsenic in the food we eat.
They don't even call them chickens or birds or fowl. They call them proteins.
Yeah, I know.
And they go from egg to your dinner table in 90 days. That's not normal.
It's not normal. And I want to say something about that because I have a friend who is a very successful businessman, and one of his very good friends is one of the top chicken breeders in the state of Georgia. And he said, so I understand that you provide chicken for this large fast food restaurant chain. And he said, I do. And he asked him point blank, so do you eat the same chicken? And he said, not even a chance.
Wow.
The chicken I eat are chicken that are out on his property that can eat bugs and seeds and what have you. So
they're not Franken chickens.
They're not Franken chicken.
What I call them.
That's right. Yeah.
And if you read the vaccination manual on these birds and the amount of vaccines in their 90-day life cycle, it is unreal.
Right.
Factory chicken used to make me so sick. Factory eggs used to make me so sick. I thought I had a chicken allergy. I thought I had an egg allergy. I wasn't allergic to chicken and eggs. I was allergic to poison. Because we all hear you are what you eat.
Right.
But guess what? You are what you eat eats too. So when they're eating genetically modified grain, that's going into your gut.
Marylou, that's one of the biggest reasons we have so many food sensitivities.
Yes,
and so,
exactly.
You eat things that have glyphosate as an example. One of the things it does, everybody says to me, well, doctor, what in the world does it do? Why is it so bad? Well, because it causes tremendous damage to the gut.
Right.
And part of that damage results in what we call increased porosity or leakage of the gut.
Mm-hmm.
So you get items like gluten that weren't necessarily the problem that they were many years ago because you didn't absorb them. The problem is when you get increased expansion of the channels in the gut, then you get things that should never pass through the gut lining into the blood. And the immune system says, whoa, Marylou, check it out. Yeah. What are we going to do with this? What's this doing here? It goes after it. And if that weren't a problem enough, your body makes what you makes of itself or repairs itself based on what you eat.
Right.
So if you're eating something that creates an immune trigger, and it has only a very small group of amino acids, proteins that make up protein chains that make up you, the body says, well, I don't get it. This bad guy has the same protein makeup as you. Let's go after both of them. And that's one of the many reasons that there's so many people today with severe autoimmune diseases.
Right.
So,
autoimmune is off the charts.
It's off the charts.
I have never seen lupus and MS and alopecia and
right.
RA and just, I have a client, she's 20 years old. She has lupus. And she works in a store that sells fake fragrances.
Right.
And I know that's another, in addition to the food, I know the fake fragrances are killing us because that's what I had in my home, in addition to the processed foods.
Sure.
That, I thought I was a good mom if my house smelled like the Yankee Candle store. I had wax melters and candles and Glade spray and plug-ins and Febreze and I shut my thyroid down.
Right.
My daughters too.
They block hormone receptor sites.
I gave her ovarian cysts with that stuff.
Yeah. Ooh.
And myself, just horrible hormonal imbalances. So, but the good news is you can clean your body out. You can stop the madness. You can detox the body, and then you can support the body systems that you've abused with natural things that, the naturally occurring chemical compounds that support the specific systems. And here I am on no medication, normal, healthy thyroid function, hormonally balanced. I'm 55 and a half.
Right.
And
Show off.
No symptoms of, according to my blood work, I'm in full-blown menopause, not symptom one. No night sweats, no hot
flashes,
flashes,
you for saying
no
that,
weight
because
gain,
none
of that
what
stuff.
people don't understand so often, particularly women, is you don't have to have all those signs and
You
symptoms.
don't have to. That is the sign of a body screaming for help. Whether you are 11 with, emotional breakdowns every time you have your cycle,
right,
or you are a childbearing age woman having really bad cramps and bleeding, or a perimenopausal or menopausal woman having hot flashes and night sweats.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be that way. That is your body telling you, friend, I need help.
Right.
Send in help. Stop killing me.
And it's, Marylou, what's so fascinating is you didn't know. And of course, you only know now because you've spent your life, these last many years, researching this as I do. This is sort of my life.
Absolutely.
My wife looks at me and says, honey, are you ever going to read anything but scientific information?
No.
Well, the thing is, it's difficult for me, and I love reading fictional material, just for the fun of it. But what's really, really
Sometimes
tough.
you got to turn your brain off.
Yeah, you do. But Marylou, and I do when I take a vacation, which probably isn't as often as I should.
Right.
So, but what's interesting is we live in a world that's so complicated. It's endless how much research you have to do to keep up with even a trickle.
But that's why you work with a health coach, because you don't have time to do all that research, and you're going to find bad information. There's a lot of good information on the internet. There's a lot of bad information, and that's honestly why I became a health coach, because I did get well. I did all the research myself. I didn't have a health coach. They weren't on every corner in 2006 like they are now, and it took too long. And when I looked back at the road that I had traveled. I thought, it shouldn't have taken me that long.
No.
So
you had to invent the road, and the road isn't linear.
I did, right.
The road looks like this.
Right.
And then finally, now I found my destination.
Correct.
So I have to ask you a question.
Yes.
I'm going to put you on the spot here.
Okay.
What makes you, I don't want to say better. I don't like using that word, but what makes you so unique?
My specialties came from my journey.
Okay.
So, my specialties were my maladies. So, it gives me a level of empathy that I get it.
Right.
I get where you are. I get that you don't know what you don't know. I don't judge. I really do care. I'm kind of a collector of people. So my clients become my friends.
Yes.
I stay in touch with people even. And my goal is to get you out of my practice, to get you into my health coaching practice, educate you, teach you how to, ride that bike without the training wheels, and then go have a great life.
Right.
But it's great because because I teach them the lifestyle, they do stay in touch with me and stay clients of mine on the product side of things. But I will definitely say that, it's my my desire to learn at the level that I've learned, so I can bring you the information. I've got great recall. If I study something, I remember it.
Yep.
I can remember what people have ordered from me, and they say, "How do you remember that?" I don't remember that because I care.
Yeah.
And
it means a lot to you. You've lived through it.
Right.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. I know what you're going to say. It sounds strange. It doesn't at all.
Yeah, well, and it can sound trite that I'm the best health coach you can hire because I care more than anybody. But it's true. I mean, I was raised by a healer. My mother was a nurse, and she was very caring when it was time for us to be cared for, and I learned that from her.
But you also you spent a lot of time. You were a healthcare coach, and please correct me if I'm wrong, long before it was hip to be that. Now it's I have so many, and please
absolutely.
don't anybody, no hate mail. I have so many people who want to work with me that are healthcare coaches, want me to refer to them, and it's
a very overused term.
It's an overused term.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, a lot of people that sell, I'll call it astronaut food, call themselves health coaches.
Right.
That's not health coaching.
So my point is that you've been around. Oh, I have to be careful. I was going to say you've been around a long time. I'm going to get myself in trouble. But in all fairness, you have done this. You've done this for a long time.
I have done it for a long time.
And
I was health coaching before I called it health coaching because people saw the changes in me.
Right.
They saw the weight come off. They saw the skin brighten. They saw me be happier.
Right.
And they said, people that I knew, family, friends, coworkers, said, "What are you doing? I want some of that."
So you're not the new kid on the block, is my point. Yeah,
no.
You've been in this. You've been around for a while with us.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Well, there are a lot of things I want to talk to you about, and I think I'm now ready. In a moment, we're going to break, and we're going to talk about what you love so much, which is essential oils.
Yes, I do.
So, folks, listen, we're going to be back very, very soon. I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash. My friend and guest today is Marylou Harris. She's a health coach, and she's also an expert in essential oils. And we're going to jump right into the power of essential oils when we get back. Don't go anywhere.
Are you ready to be the hero of your own story? It's time to put the power of your health back into your hands. Join us for our free 25-day journey to get your life back now from chronic illness. Our doctors and experts will guide you back to optimal health.
If it's true that the microbiome and the loss of it leads to cancer death, what has changed this? The answer is this single molecule. This molecule is glyphosate. This is the active ingredient in a weed killer that you have perhaps heard of called Roundup. It's made by a company called Monsanto. Monsanto patented this chemical that was actually made in 1959 by a Japanese researcher, and he said, oh my gosh, this is a horrible toxin, this should never go into use, so he put it on the shelf, but he patented it. And Monsanto found that patent in 1974, and they bought that patent, then turned it into the first consumer product that would be called Roundup, the most ubiquitous toxin on the planet. But this chemical has never been patented as a weed killer. This chemical was patented as an antibiotic.
Go to www.getyourlifebacknow.live and begin your journey today.
All right, folks. Dr. Nelson Bulmash here, the host of Health Matters on the UI Media Network. I'm back. Marylou is my guest today. She's a life coach, and she is also an expert in essential oils. Now, I want to say this, and once again, please, folks, I don't mean in any way to offend anybody. One of the things I want to separate you out from, and I want to do this delicately because some people are going to hear this and go, no fair, Nelson, don't pick on us as network marketers. But one of the things that's a little frustrating about network marketing, I get it's an amazing business model, no question about it. And there's some amazing products. You get no argument from me about that. What I do have trouble with is how often people in network marketing companies come up to me and say, look, we have this one product and it's going to cure everything from
the magic
pill. Constipation to making you a billionaire.
Right.
And, sorry, there's no such thing. There is no
magic pill.
There is no magic pill, folks.
No.
It doesn't exist. You've got to live a lifestyle. You've got to do things ongoingly for the rest of your life that support your health and wellness.
Right.
And
it's
there's no shortcut.
Wheel, yeah.
So wellness wheel. I like that.
Yeah.
So let's jump in. What do we need to know? Because really, you know me, Marylou, you and I have worked together now for some time, and you know that I don't jump into things unless I plan to get really good at them.
Me too.
And I know you. I know that about you. I sure do. And one of the things is that I have a great regard for the power of essential oils. I actually think, as a doctor, that essential oils are far, far more powerful than the vast majority of even healers, even doctors, have any idea. I've had people do, for example, massages on me where they just decided, I'm going to sprinkle this essential oil on you, and I got so sick, I almost couldn't go to work the next day.
Right.
Vomiting and GI problems, big time issues with orientation.
Right.
Had trouble walking, had a migraine headache. That's when I realized, and I'm no blame here, but I went, whoa, these things are far more powerful and should be wielded by the hand and the method of someone who really knows what they're doing. And I know you do. So
exactly.
What do we need to know about essential oils?
Well, I think that's one of the most important things that people do understand is how powerful they are.
Right.
A drop is a lot. And it's really interesting because I was so multi-level marketing averse my whole life. Like if somebody brought something to me that had those three initials attached to it, I was like, no, get that away from me. Even companies that made good products, And
there are a fair number of companies that actually make really good products. So
there were a number of companies that I signed up to be a rep just so I could buy the products at wholesale. Ever even told anybody about them.
Same thing.
But when I found the doTERRA product line, I just saw the power of it. And the only reason I tried an essential oil, this is such a funny story. I owned a commercial office building, and there was a woman in there renting from me. She was my longest running tenant, and she was a psychological counselor.
Right.
And she did Reiki. I'd never heard of Reiki. I didn't know anything about it.
Sure.
And I thought it was, I kind of thought, well, that's weird that a psychological counselor has a bed in her office.
Yes.
Because I just was so unevolved at that point. But she put out a little flyer on her front desk, and it was a doTERRA flyer. And doTERRA was probably brand new at the time. And she just used them in her practice for stress management for people.
Beautiful.
And I thought, you know what? She's been my client for 5 years. She's been so supportive of me and my little small business as a property manager. I need to support her business. And that's the reason I bought an essential oil from her first. Isn't that crazy? I mean, it's just funny how life
comes around.
Goes toot, toot, toot.
Yep.
Here,
Hello, Marylou. Got something for you.
So it was lavender, lemon, and peppermint. And I fell in love with it. And I
what a combination.
Started noticing how much calmer I was, because I can get pretty wound up, and how peppermint oil just helped my digestive issues, because I was still recovering from digestive issues from all that candida overgrowth. It had done so much damage in its wake. So I looked a little deeper into it and found a digestive blend that they make called Digest Zen, which I think is cute. But I always had to have Tums or Rolaids with me. It was car keys, cell phone, purse, Tums,
Wow.
That's how much I relied on them, because when I got heartburn, it was debilitating. It was, okay, party's over, go home. So I started using, when I cleaned up my toxic load and started learning about the chemicals and things in over-the-counter meds that we all think are so safe, because that's what we're told. But I started using that digestive blend in lieu of a Rolaids or a Tums. And what I noticed was the more I used it, the less I needed it. And that made me go, what's that all about?
Yes.
So that's when the deep dive started.
Right.
And an essential oil, it's very simple. The human body is a system of systems. The different naturally occurring chemical compounds in the different essential oils support the different systems.
Right.
So you can find an oil that supports healthy liver function. You can find one that, is good for emotional balance. You can find one that is a natural histamine blocker, things like that. And so I did all that research, and it was years and years of using them and falling in love with them and just using them as healthy swaps in my home.
Right.
That I said, okay, I don't care if it's MLM. I've got to take this stuff into the world.
Yeah.
I've got to help change the world one drop at
Drop
a
at a time. I love it.
And I went to the first conference that I went to learn, because I became this science nerd about the chemicals, the safety, the drug contraindications, all that stuff that came ultimately.
Yeah, they're very, very big on education, right?
doTERRA is big on education, but I wanted all third party. I didn't want there to be any bias, so I did all my my certification is not through doTERRA; it's through a third party group.
Oh, okay.
And but they do a lot of scientific presentations, and they do. I joked as my boyfriend dropped me off at the airport years ago for my very first convention. I said, "Well, first time they talk about a pink Cadillac, honey, I'm coming home. So don't invite any girls over while I'm gone, because you really aren't sure when I'm coming back."
I love it. Right.
And the only thing that they talked about from a sales standpoint was how to. They educated us on how to educate people on how powerful they are.
Yeah.
And how little to use. And I sat there in that auditorium of, tens of thousands of people, and I thought, wow, this company's only sales pitch is don't sell too much. Don't let them use too much. And that really resonated with me. Like that really, and then all the,
There's a cleanness about that. Like, be responsible,
integrity.
Be careful.
Yeah, there's an
have integrity to
that.
it.
Yeah.
I love that.
There's a heart behind that,
Yeah.
And there's still a lot of people out there that, I see them on Facebook, and I'm the Facebook police that says, no, that's too much. Don't take that much internally,
Yeah.
You can tell. I think you can quickly tell online, especially the ones that are doing it to, get that MLM bonus and rank. I don't care. I couldn't care less about that.
Got it. Yeah.
I'm an ex-corporate girl that squirreled all my money away. I don't do this job for the money.
Yeah.
I do it because I love it.
Right.
I do it tirelessly. And again, I hear myself say that, and I know how trite it sounds, but it's true. I didn't go looking for a job.
Here's the thing.
It found me.
I love honesty, and it sounds like there's integrity and honesty there. And once again, I'm not against network marketing, but I'm all about be responsible.
Yeah.
And certainly don't mislead people, because, sorry folks, for those of you who believe your one product is going to help everyone with everything, it's not. So
No. And I'm very quick to tell you that I'm not the magic pill because there isn't one. And I am a spoke in the wellness wheel. And I always tell people, I think chiropractic is the hub of that wheel. I think that's the most important thing, but it's not the only thing.
No.
I've known chiropractors that think you can get an adjustment and then you can go pickle yourself in chemicals and you're going to be just fine. And I vehemently disagree with that.
Yeah.
I am the big picture, that we've talked about this before, that word holistic is overused.
Yep.
But that's really who I am, because I teach you how to eat. I teach you how not to pollute your home the way I did. I teach you about the water. I teach you about supplements. I teach you about oils. Most of the stuff I teach you about, I don't sell. So that's the other reason that I'm not a product peddler.
Yeah.
But if somebody comes looking for something as a healthy swap, and I can sell it to them, I don't have any shame in that anymore.
There's no shame. No, of course not.
I used to.
No.
That used to be quite a block for me. But
No,
as I've evolved, I've realized it's okay for me to make a living doing this.
Absolutely. You're providing an excellent service, an excellent product.
I had this misguided thought of, well, if I'm doing this from my heart, I shouldn't make any money doing it.
No.
And that evolved into, I'm really, really good at what I do, and I should be compensated for it.
And I agree with you.
So
let's jump in and let's talk about how some of the oils impact some of the major things that we have difficulty in. And of course, I want to say up front, and I know you believe this, but I always want to clarify, we're not talking, folks, about curing anything.
No.
We're talking about giving the body things, in this case, essential oils or oil combinations that are very, very effective in helping to balance and through balance optimize your immunity, your physiology, your mood, your digestion. So let's jump in. And I want to be cautious here. I don't want you to feel like you're put in a box, so to speak. I know you can't give like this is what I do for every person, but let's say somebody comes in. I want to go through some of these conditions with you. Somebody comes in because digestive issues. It's probably would you say it's the number one problem in your practice?
it really is.
Right
now,
and you get rid of so much
yes.
by taking care of gut function, right?
Correct.
So let's talk about somebody comes in. Once again, I'm going to use women. I hope you're okay with that. It could be a man, but
I
70%
see a lot more women than men.
Me
for
too.
Sure.
Yeah. And men, step up, folks.
Yeah,
I can't. Men, we have this ridiculous no pain, no gain. And no, I'll help.
I'm a manly man.
I'm a manly
I don't
man.
have to see a health coach.
Right. I'll die before my wife, and then she can get another boyfriend or another man. It's so ridiculous, guys. Let's step up here, okay? 70 to 80% of my practice are women.
Sure.
So what we're going to say certainly applies, but the most common thing is I get a woman in my office. She has digestive issues. How do you work with them specifically from an essential oil perspective? Now, we talked about diet, and we talked about eliminating, many of the toxic things, the fragrances or chemicals that are unnecessary.
I actually have a document that's called "Where Do I Start?" because when I started, I was overwhelmed. And so I walk people through the 3 most toxic rooms in the home, which is the laundry room, the kitchen, and the bathroom, and just talk about, briefly about that. And then I've got a gut program. It's 3 months. It's I teach you how to eat. I teach you about water. I teach you to get a shower filter for your chlorine not to get in your gut that way. I talk about supplements.
Right.
Digestive enzymes are huge. We've got to help our body break down that food. Talk about probiotics.
By the way, I'm gonna have you pause for just a second. Let's talk about why enzymes are so important. Because very few people eat raw food anymore.
Right.
And having a really significant, particularly in the summertime, I'm not on board with that in the middle of winter when you're living in a highly cold climate, you have to eat all raw food.
Right.
I think the body needs soups, for example, and more dense.
I know my body does.
Yeah, I crave meat and dense soups, dense fats, because they're expansive. They're more heating. I don't. Sorry, folks, to my vegan friends, I don't crave, sprouts and things like cauliflower. I crave very hot, dense foods when it's cold. Now, in the warmer months, we live in the South, so about 9 months or so, 10 months out of the year, it's much. It's very hot.
Sure.
It's not cool. So in northern climates, they can eat more food that's hot, so and expansive. But let's talk about how you eat in a cooler environment. What kind of foods do you recommend? And then I want to make sure we go into the essential oils you use.
Yeah. Well, I live by the Dirty Dozen, Clean 15 list, and then I teach people about the wild caught fish and
Right.
things like that are healthy, or grass fed beef, organic chicken. You know, the things that are, you know, when we have gut issues, the things that help the gut, like bone broth, organic bone broth, how to make your own bone broth. It's so easy, people.
Right.
You don't have to buy the powdered. You know, it's harder to break down in the body, but
Well, let's do this, Marylou. I hate to interrupt you.
no, that's okay.
We got to take another break.
I know we got to go to those breaks.
So, folks, we'll be right back. Taking our last break here. I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash. You're listening to another edition and on another adventure with me. And in this case, Marylou. We'll be right back.
Do you want to learn how you can stop sabotaging yourself? I'm here with Dr. Vern Morgan, and I think he's about to tell you just that.
There's great new technology which will allow you to change the old negative programming into very positive strategies. And we do that by using and delivering repetitively these strategies, bypassing the conscious mind and influencing the subconscious mind.
And to learn more, go to unitedintentions.org and click on Shop and make the authentic change today.
Wow. My engineer and producer are rocking us out here today. They picked some amazing music.
It's kind of hard not
it's hard not to get into
on the
it.
breaks,
So I've got to acknowledge my engineer there, Jesse. You're on fire today,
That's
my
right.
friend. Wow. You're
point.
welcome, my friend. You're welcome. So I want to jump in and I want to see if we can explore how to use things like essential oils to better digestion.
Sure. Well, back to my story about the digestive
Yeah.
blend that I used. You know, the oils that are in there are all targeted to calm a lot of the inflammation that we get in the gut when
Okay.
we eat GMO foods or,
So
or whatever.
the first step is we're going to calm
You got to
the
calm
gut.
it down.
Okay,
Yeah.
got it.
And then I generally do, it's about a 10-day protocol of the oils that kind of clean out the gut.
By the way, excuse me, I apologize. The first thing, forgive me, I made a mistake here.
Uh-huh.
First thing, folks, is we remove the things that are destroying the gut in the
Right.
first place.
Right.
My humble apologies. The
Yep.
second thing is we calm the gut.
Yeah.
Sorry about
And I
that.
always say educate, eliminate,
Yeah.
and then detoxify.
Detoxify.
Yeah. So we got to calm it all down
Right.
because it's in this state of spasm basically and inflammation really. And so we calm it down, and then we there's a little gel cap that is, you know, one little bottle of product that you can get, and it for 10 days you take it twice a day with food. I always say the 2 heaviest meals of the day, because if you eat it on an empty stomach and it can't emulsify in food, you're going to feel it.
Yeah.
But it's the oregano and the thyme and the caprylic acid from a pineapple that kind of scrape out, I say scrape, that's too extreme of a word, but kill off the bad gut bacteria.
Right. So they're going to get rid of yeast overgrowth. They're going to get rid of
Yes.
bacteria
Any
in the gut that
intestinal
are in
threats.
overgrowth
Yeah.
that are not friends of ours. We want them
Exactly.
out of the party that is in our microbiome.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then that seesaw of good versus bad gut
Yeah.
bacteria, good can win that race. And then we do probiotics.
Got it.
And really digestive enzymes and probiotics and
Super.
proper supplementation, that's something that I take every day.
Yeah.
I'm never going to stop doing that.
Well, if
I'm
you eat
never
out at
gonna
a
stop
restaurant,
supporting.
or unless every place you eat out has organic food, and the sad thing is restaurants, many of them still use the chicken that we don't want to eat. They
No.
get feedlot beef or farm raised catfish, salmon, and so forth.
Yep.
So I like it. All right, let's go into insomnia. I want to go through some of these here with you.
Can I back up just one second too?
course,
Though
of
when we're
course.
healing the
Yeah.
gut, I really focus on stress, because a stressed body is always going to have
Yes.
gut issues.
Very,
So
very important.
that goes in hand in hand too, as we're healing the gut, and I'm
Right.
teaching you to eat the anti-inflammatory foods versus the inflammatory foods, avocados, coconut, yogurt, things
Yeah.
like that, that help heal the gut. We've got to manage your stress level, because if you're
Yeah,
like
we have a
this,
saying
you're always going to have gut
in
issues.
functional medicine that you gotta take yourself out of the fight and flight, and you gotta put yourself in the rest and digest state
Right.
to be healthy. Good-
Right.
very good
and,
point.
And then comes the sleep, where
Right.
if you don't get into that parasympathetic state of sleep, your body's not going to heal itself
Not
as
going
you
to repair
sleep.
itself, right?
Right. So yeah. So and I love oils for stress. They're amazing because they have an immediate impact on the brain.
And it's so fast.
So fast. Yeah.
Tell
I've
us about some of your favorites.
literally, gosh, that'd be like saying which is my favorite child. I can't do that.
Well, I'll give you 5. How's that?
Okay.
The top 5 for helping to calm
Wow.
the brain, the nervous system, maybe the physiology.
I tell you what, I have a noisy brain, and sandalwood oil quiets my noisy brain.
Okay.
That little monkey that sits on my shoulder and reminds me of everything I
Yes.
forgot to do today.
Right.
I can shut him up in a second with sandalwood oil.
Poor little thing.
Yeah, I know, right? Cedarwood oil actually has been clinically proven. If you look on PubMed.gov, this is not Marylou saying this. This is PubMed.gov saying this, to increase the production of melatonin in the body naturally. So cedarwood oil will inspire your body to make more melatonin. And that's why oils work. They inspire your body to do its job better. So an oil like neroli can inspire your brain to make more of the amino acid neurotransmitter called GABA that helps you handle
stress better,
feeling anxious or stressed.
Yeah.
So
it's a,
and again, I know they work because they work on me. I can give you a million anecdotal stories of how they've changed my life.
I mean, I'm the same. When I take them, it's kind of like in minutes. Holy cow! How am I so much more calm?
And it's funny. We use them on our dog.
Yes.
And like the other night, fireworks, 4th of July, he gets excited, or thunderstorms. And I put a drop. He's a 90-pound dog, so a drop or 2 is plenty for a 90-pound dog. In my hand, I rub my hands together. I rub it on his back paws, his pads of his back paws. Before I stand up, he's going. He can taste it in his mouth from his back paws. That's how quick they get into your bloodstream.
Yes.
So that's why they have such an immediate effect. And again, just the way they can inspire the brain or inspire the organ to perform better. I have low blood sugar, and when I feel myself getting, that
jittery,
shaky little blood, I will take 1 drop of cinnamon oil internally. Immediately goes to support the pancreas. The pancreas goes, okay, a little more, comes up.
And stabilizes your blood sugar.
And I go from this to this, And same thing if your blood sugar's high. And, again, I'm not saying that cinnamon oil cures diabetes. What I'm saying is cinnamon oil supports your pancreas.
Yes, which supports your physiology.
Exactly.
Marylou, I know one of the ones that I love to use is lavender for
Yeah.
Lavender is one of those things, if I spritz myself down before I go to bed at night, by the time I go from my bathroom sink, and I love this, I have a spritzer and I just spritz myself down with it. And by the time I get to my bed, I'm already like, oh, this feels nice.
There's an immediate calming effect. It actually can calm the skin topically.
Right.
Just like it does emotionally.
Yes.
She who slammed this finger in the car door can tell you that it took that pounding, throbbing pain
away.
And just, I still felt a little heartbeat. I'm not going to lie to you, but it was a nasty slam in the door. And that amazed me. I would not have intentionally been my own crash test dummy, but I was glad I did.
Well, funny, my daughter was at a friend's house, and this has been apparently a tough year for fleas. So a lot of people with cats and dogs have flea problems this year. And one of my friends was using a natural product that she said was really, as a matter of fact, she showed me this. She sprayed her dog, who had 5 fleas on its back end, with a combination of eucalyptus and peppermint, and it killed them on the spot.
Yeah.
That's number one.
We've gotten ticks off our dog.
Yeah.
Like if you put a drop. But again, you have to be careful. And part of my consultation is why you need to dilute an essential oil and never get it in the eyes and never put it directly in the nose or in the ears and all that. So obviously we don't have time to go over all the safety.
Sure.
But that is paramount in my health coaching practice.
Of course.
And that is why I am certified. And that is why you want to work with somebody who does this full time. I have a brick and mortar office. I am invested in this business.
Yeah.
You can buy an essential oil from me, or you can buy one from your, husband's office manager's mother-in-law who has zero knowledge, and it costs you the same.
Yeah.
So why would you do that?
One of the things that my patients learn is you don't just pay for the product, for heaven's sakes. You pay for the expertise that goes into why the product.
Absolutely.
I want to hit a couple things here. We're running out of time here, unfortunately. My daughter, by the way, was at this friend's house and got bitten by some of the fleas, and poor thing was an itchy, swollen, just beside herself. She put on lavender that was in a carrier oil, and within 10 minutes, all the itching, she said, disappeared.
Correct.
Yeah. All right, let's pick one more topic. We got about another I'm told we actually have less than 5 minutes. Pick another of your favorite topics and how we can work with the essential oil specifically.
I love them for mood management.
Talk about it.
You can get an essential oil diffuser and run it in the house, and you can affect the moods of people that don't even realize it's happening because they got to breathe 16 times every minute.
Sure.
So
And
you're getting that aromatherapy. I never really thought about the word aromatherapy
Yes.
until
you
I started
using
doing
it.
this, and then I thought, well, that makes sense.
And we do
the
it in
aroma
our-
is literally performing
Therapy.
on our brain.
And we use it at our house. Now, there's one thing I want to qualify. You're not putting straight oils into the diffuser, right?
No, it's a water-based diffuser.
Water-based, thank you.
Generally.
Yeah.
There is something called an atomizer,
Right.
which will disperse the oil right out of the bottle into the air. But again, you have to be very careful with, how long you do that
Right.
and things like that.
My wife was using pine oil, and all of a sudden, it became too overwhelming because she used it in whatever form it was getting into the air. Suddenly, it was too much,
Right.
and it overwhelmed my
it can
respiratory
be
system.
very overwhelming.
Yeah.
And you have to be really careful. 95% of the essential oils on the market are adulterated with chemicals. They're synthetic. 95%.
Hate it.
So,
All right.
and that's been proven by a third-party testing company called APRC, Aromatic Plant Research something. But they basically tested 50 essential oil companies, and 47 of them had chemical fragrances. So you're using them because you think they're non-toxic and you think they're natural, and but I can guarantee you that $3.99 essential oil from Walmart is not an
not your
essential
answer.
oil.
Right.
So you have to know the company. You have to be able to trust the company. You have to, the reason I picked doTERRA is they've never ever failed a quality test.
I know. They're very, very big on quality.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that you're, once again, one more thing I like about you is that I can trust that I refer somebody to you. You're not only going to give them good information, accurate information that's going to help them change their lives, but you're going to use supplements and essential oils that have been proven to be safe and non-toxic.
And I'm going to do it appropriatry.
Yeah, exactly.
So
listen, I don't want to forget to give you enough time. So let's do it right now before, because you and I we got 3 minutes left.
Right.
How can people reach out to you, and how can they get the information that you talked about, the 10 ugly things or deadly things, and then the 15 good?
Oh, the Dirty Dozen.
Dirty Dozen, thank you.
Clean 15.
Clean 15. How can they get
Best
those?
way to reach me is just email. It's just my first name, Marylou, at my company name, awesomenaturalhealing.com.
Now, you have to be careful, because make sure, by the way, you don't give out your cell phone number. My guest that was on my last show said, I got people from India that were contacting me. You really are getting out to the whole world, aren't you?
Right.
I said, yes. I said, could you understand them? Not very well.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I interrupted
That's
you.
okay. I'm on Facebook and Instagram.
Okay.
I'm not a lover of social media, but I'm there because I have to be.
Got it.
But you can find me at Awesome Natural Healing on Facebook or Instagram.
Awesome Natural Healing. I love it.
And
Fantastic.
so that's my word, awesome. I always say awesome. Yeah. So
well,
that
that's
became
we're from Ohio and Michigan.
That's
I
right.
mean, come on now.
That's right. So, but I've got a website, awesomenaturalhealing.com. I've got a Calendly link embedded in my website. So if you want a free 30-minute phone consultation, you can set that up yourself.
Right.
I do that 30-minute phone consult just to see if I can help you, because I'm not going to tell you I can help you if I can't.
I love it. So there's there's nothing wasted on their part.
No, it's just two people having a chat. There's no obligation. I don't collect any information from you.
Yeah.
I don't do email blast lists that you don't want. Yeah. I don't want to be bothered, so I don't bother people.
Right. You're very, very clean. I like that about the way you live and the way you operate.
Thank you.
That's fantastic. All right, we got 30 seconds for you. And it's time in my show for what we call final thoughts. 30 seconds. Final thoughts.
Final thoughts.
What do you want to leave
I
people with?
should be really deep on that somehow.
You don't have to. I mean, it can. Final thoughts is whatever you want to leave.
Well,
people with.
okay. So I'm never without things to say. So my final thoughts would be, if you're not living your best life, why not? If not, why not? I'd love to help you feel better, sleep better, look better, digest better. Just again, enjoy the life that where none of us are promised any certain amount of time, and why not have whatever time you have left be the most enjoyable. So,
fantastic.
I mean, I feel like I'm in the best health of my life at 55.
At 55, beautiful. So. Marylou, thank you so much. I hope
so
you'll hang out for just a sec here.
Absolutely.
I'm going to close down the show. Folks, thank you so much for joining us for another edition of Health Matters. I'm Dr. Nelson Bulmash. I'll see you next week. 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be on Facebook Live. Thank you for joining us. Remember, always be your best and bring your best.
Amen.
Thank you for joining us on this edition of Health Matters with Dr. Nelson Bulmash, where we help you discover how to ignite your mind, body, and spirit connection. Join us next time when we will bring you more exciting guests and engaging topics. Meanwhile, feed your mind, exercise your body, and nurture your spirit. The United Intentions Foundation and its associates take no responsibility for the opinions and statements made by the talk show hosts or their guests.